The Denver Broncos are bringing back a familiar face. What's going on, Broncos country? It's your boy Denver Trap back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about how the Broncos found their new pass game coordinator, who it is, how they played a role with this Broncos team in the past. They do have a history with Sean Payton, so it's another one of those Sean Payton guys coming back to Denver, which already coached at Denver, was also in New Orleans as well. We're going to dive into all that today, talking about Johnny Morton, what he's going to bring to this team, what he did with the former team he was with, and we're just going to talk about everything. If you enjoy Broncos content, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps recommend me to more people and more Bronco fans like yourself. So John Morton was a Broncos assistant before becoming the Lions offensive coordinator ahead of the 2025 season, and he's set to return to Denver after parting ways with the Detroit Lions. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported that Morton is expected to rejoin Sean Payton's coaching staff as the team's offensive pass game coordinator. Morton held the same role from 2023 and 2024, and he also consulted the Broncos during their postseason after being dismissed from the Lions in January. And Morton was the Lions assistant under Dan Campbell in 2022, replaced Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator in Detroit last offseason. His run calling the team's offensive plays ended in mid-November, with Campbell taking over those responsibilities. The Lions have hired Drew Petzing as their new offensive coordinator last month. Morton also worked with Sean Payton in New Orleans, spent the 2017 season with the Jets, offensive coordinator, and had stints with the Raiders, 49ers over the course of his coaching career. So he has some bit of a track record. He is just the Broncos pass game coordinator, so I do think that it's going to be fine bringing him back. He was with Denver in 2023 and in 2024, and he has the same role that he had then now. And people don't want to bring up the fact that Detroit still had one of the better offenses on paper in the NFL, even though Morton never lived up to the hype of a Ben Johnson. On paper, the Lions were really good. In 2025, they finished top 4 in points scored at 28.3 per game, and they were a top 5 unit in yards per game at 373.2. Unfortunately, the Lions took a huge step back in terms of their run game. The Lions ranked 14th in the NFL with 120.1 rushing yards per game. In fairness, people don't want to bring up the retirement of Frank Ragnour and the departure of veteran guard Kevin Zeter almost certainly changed the situation for worse before Morton ever even took over the Detroit Lions. So with that being said, I think Morton can come back to Denver and he can literally start off from where he left off, and the Broncos are going to be in a very good start for the 2026 season with John Morton as their offensive pass coordinator. I think that's absolutely good that Denver's bringing him back, him knowing Sean Payton's offense. And I mean, gosh, he's been around Sean Payton for a long time. He has ties through Sean Payton going all the way back to 2006. So the chemistry, those guys together, and then you have Davis Webb at the helm calling the plays. It's going to be super interesting to see what Denver does this year offensively. I think they're going to take a jump. And it seems that Sean Payton's coaching revamp is almost completed. And the Denver Broncos hired Ronald Curry as their wide receivers coach, and this is good for a lot of reasons. Curry is a guy that used to play wide receiver. He is a guy that has developed some of the best wide receiver talents that we've seen. We're talking about he was a part of Michael Thomas's best year. Michael Thomas's best year in his career was with Ronald Curry as the wide receiver coach. So this is great for the guys like Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, all those guys. This is super good for them. Or if Denver brings in another guy in free agency or trades for a guy to pair with this receiving room, Ronald Curry's a guy that's going to get the best of them. Former wide receiver, been with Sean Payton before. But the thing that's very interesting to me is, yeah, Denver already hired their quarterbacks coach in Logan Kilgore, but Ronald Curry is a guy that actually was a part of Josh Allen's coaching staff as a quarterbacks coach. So this could actually benefit Bo Nix as well, hiring Ronald Curry. I think that this is just a huge hire. I think the receiving room is going to improve, considering they had the most drops in the NFL. Ronald Curry's a guy that I believe is going to come in, revamp this wide receiver room. He is going to get the best out of these guys, and I think we're going to see a jump. The Broncos promoted Davis Webb to the offensive coordinator. The rumor is that Sean Payton is going to let Davis Webb call the plays. Really young, great offensive mind that formerly played quarterback in the NFL and was a backup quarterback, but had a mind where people would say that Davis Webb was acting as a in-house quarterbacks coach, even playing for the Giants as a backup. So it's super great that the Broncos promoted him. He's a guy that I think is going to absolutely turn around this offense. We've seen that Arizona Cardinals preseason game where he got to call plays. It was in rhythm, everything was working, and the execution was absolutely amazing. So the Broncos definitely upgraded at offensive coordinator as well. Kilgore accepted the tight ends job at Arkansas State. However, Sean Payton took the head coaching job in Denver in 2023. He offered Kilgore an offensive quality control position, which Kilgore accepted instead of going to Arkansas State. Kilgore had held the quality control job for the past 3 seasons with the Broncos. He now has 7 years of coaching experience through all 3 levels of football. So he does have a really good track record, good levels of football that he has coached at. So Payton had Kilgore work with the Broncos tight ends, special teams returners, on top of his various duties as a quality control coach. Now he will step into a bigger role that will come with potentially and likely career-altering duties that could help him elevate his career, or maybe not. That's just part of it. He will be working with quarterback Bo Nix, so hopefully this helps his career skyrocket and he becomes a offensive coordinator, kind of like Davis Webb did, and he gets that opportunity to do so. Last season, Nix had 3,931 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He led the Broncos to 14 wins, and it was a very reliable at making plays in the clutch. So it's going to be super exciting to see what Kilgore does. Webb did a phenomenal job with the young quarterback his first 2 seasons, and Webb being a former quarterback, so is Kilgore. So I feel like it's not going to change much. I think this was a great promotion for the Broncos to promote Logan Kilgore as the quarterback's coach. And I think it's fair to say that Sean Payton did a heck of a job revamping his offensive coaching staff this offseason with bringing in John Morton back to this team, bringing Ronald Curry, a guy that has a very good track record, very good wide receiver coach, also has some qualities that could help Bo Nix. You elevate Davis Webb, which is one of the league's future promising offensive minds, a guy that's going to be great in this league for years to come. And you elevate and promote Logan Kilgore, another quarterback, young offensive mind. I absolutely love what Sean Payton did for this offense, and I think that we're going to see this offense take a huge jump from last offseason to this current offseason. I think we're going to see going from season to season, from 2025 to the 2026 season. I think we're going to see a dominant performance from this offense. Hopefully the defense stays the same. They did have some new hires over there that we may talk about in another episode, but this is just talking about how I'm praising Sean Payton for what he's done in his offensive hires, promotions, what he's done for the offense in totality. Hopefully they do the same thing in the offseason and free agency and in the draft, is go offensive heavy. Let's revamp it. This is just the first step of showing that the Broncos care about the production of the offense. They want it to get better, and it all starts from the top and comes down. So let's hope that Denver continues to do what they did coaching-wise, player-wise, and let's attack the free agency, draft, and just dominate to make this Denver Broncos offense one of the best in the 2026 season. If you enjoy Broncos content, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and go Broncos.